What's up guys, welcome back to another episode. Today is a how-to episode. This one comes heavily requested and actually requested fairly recently in my latest video. So if you guys are new to my channel, consider subscribing because I do these how-to videos, I do will it ride videos and regular session videos, but let's just get right to it. Today is going to be how to fakie with a cassette or a coaster, but today we have a cassette and we have another cassette as well. This is John's bike, but we actually took the bolt out of the crank arm, which allows you to be able to spin the cranks around like this so that we can at least show you how to fakie properly with a coaster, even though we don't have one readily available. But the man behind the camera today is John Moore, and that's whose bike we have here. He is not too good at fakies, so I figured he'd be the perfect test subject for this video, but let's just see his point of view so far, if he even wants to ride my bike or his bike.
Well, technically I'm scared because I've broken my chain and tried riding at Noop and any other skate park, and I stem my knee all the time. So I might end up riding your bike, to be honest, because I'm going to eat it. I know it.
The only thing I'm slightly terrified about is the plastic pedals. I'm used to running pedals with metal pins, which gives me maximum grip, and especially on a day like today, it is really wet out. It's actually the last day, I believe, that we're going to have nice warm weather. I may have a hoodie on, but it's about 55 degrees out. It doesn't feel like winter, and we're in January right now. So let's get right into it, and let's just start with the basic fakie. If you guys are finding this video for the first time, you want to be very comfortable doing 180s. You want to be very comfortable at 180s before you even attempt to fakie with a cassette or a coaster. But by the end of this video, we'll be taking the bikes to the skate park and showing you 10 different tricks with a cassette and with a coaster. All right, so the first thing we're going to start with is like a pressure nose press off of a wall or any type of subject that's pretty solid, because that's going to help you generate some type of momentum backwards if you're not too comfortable with a 180 with a cassette or a coaster your first couple times. So as you can see, John comes up with a decent amount of speed, and he comes up and gently presses his front wheel up on the pole, rolls backwards, and fakies out. Now this is to generate some type of control with the trick. You don't have to generate as much speed as you think traveling backwards and trying to go as far backwards as you can. This is just to initiate the initial fakie to get you more comfortable before you do a 180. Now, as you can see, as I was faking backwards, I actually had a lot of my body weight back, so that allowed me to be able to pull my handlebars, to pull that momentum backwards, and it made it a lot easier for me to fakie, so there was no pedal resistance. All right, so I hope those initial fakies helped you out to understand the pressure off of a wall or any type of solid object to be able to initiate the fakie. All right, so I've ridden coasters in the past. It makes everything a lot easier with the fakie process because you don't really have to use your feet to help gauge your speed or slow you down. You can just do slight leans side to side. So that's what we're going to show you further into the video, is how to gauge your speed with a cassette versus a coaster. But before we get to that, we're going to hear John's point of view on what he likes for the coaster style or the cassette style.
Well, personally, the coaster is, I would have to say, it's easier, even though I'm really bad at balancing backwards, you know what I mean? So, and you don't really do nothing, you just got to pay attention to the 180, and once you're faking, you just got to balance with your arms. The cassette, I feel a lot more comfortable, even though I don't go as far, but I feel balanced when I'm back pedaling. I'm using my hips to keep the balance and everything. So all in all, I do like the cassette better, but I'm better at faking on a coaster.
I have to say the same thing as well. Cassettes, they really help you feel a lot more comfortable gauging the speed by using that pedal pressure to ride backwards. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about by gauging the pressure to be able to kind of guide me further and further in this long fakie. So now John and I are going to do like a fakie competition as far as we can go across the tennis court. The initial distance that we're going to try to go for is one width of a tennis court, which is one of these blue framed out areas. So whoever gets that first, then obviously the competition goes further and further and further, and we've got plenty of tennis court to go, but I don't foresee us going all the way to the fence. So as you can see, when I was faking backwards, I actually started to get a little bit off balance, and I used my pedal pressure to counter my steering and allow me to be able to line back up to be able to get the half cab back over into the green area. Now, I can't say it would have been harder or easier with a coaster, because if I didn't have that pedal pressure to counter my turning, I probably would have washed out, but we'll see if John's got the distance, and we'll see if that happens to him. You. So as you can see, John had no pedal resistance to stop him from going as far as he just did. But if he had pedal resistance, that would have helped him steer, but he didn't have any problem steering because he was going perfectly straight. But John is also going to show you what we call over here the Jersey hop. And the Jersey hop will help him correct the positioning of his back wheel to be able to help him steer in the right direction. You can also do this with a cassette. It's not as easy because your pedals have to keep spinning around as you're hopping, and then it's really easy to lose balance. But we're going to show you both methods right now. Okay, so the key with this is to go at it with a very, very slow rate of speed. You go fast with this trick, it is game over. It'll send you off your bike and it will not feel good. So when you're doing the trick, you want a 180 at a very slow pace, and then you do a nollie, which is where you pick up the back wheel and kind of scooch it over and help it direct your bike in the right position you want it to be at to be able to finish out your trick. So when doing the 180 with the cassette and doing this Fakey Jersey hop, you want to make sure that your footing is the same position every single time. So when you go to pop up the nollie, you want to make sure that you're landing with your footing in the same position because your body lean is always going to be the same. So the scooching effect will always change depending on what direction you plan on spinning. All right, so I really hope these pointers have been able to help you out with faking in a parking lot. Now we're going to try to see how far each of us can fakie in this tennis court area, and then we're going to take it straight to the skate park and see if we can do 10 different tricks faking on the cassette and the coaster. All right, so for this little fakie competition, John had a perfect idea. We're going to pick up one of the bikes and we're going to have our choice in the beginning. It's basically going to be, we initiate the fakie with one bike. Wherever we come to a complete stop, we drop that bike there and we initiate the second fakie from that position. That way we can gauge the distance more accurately. All right, so the bike is down. We're going to pick up his bike. He's going to initiate his second fakie with his bike and see how much further he can go in the tennis court, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. Nice.
This line right here with the leaf.
Okay.
That's where the front tire is.
All right, so it's my turn now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it a little bit differently. I'm going to use his bike to see how far I can go with his fakie because I don't really foresee myself going the entire distance faking with my bike. So now, John's gonna pop down there. I'm gonna do the 180 at his handlebar and see how much further I can fakie. I'm pretty sure I can make it past his line though. He's going for distance. He's going the distance. He's going for speed. Alright guys, that's just us goofing off right now, trying to see what's a little bit better to fakie and what's not. We're going to take these things straight to the skate park and see if we can knock out these 10 tricks on cassette and coaster, so stay tuned. Alright guys, we made it to a skate park. This is one of my locals, Glasgow Skate Park. You've seen a lot of my videos. It's pretty wet still. We're kind of limited to what we can ride, but we have 10 tricks we want to knock out. We're going to do it on each other's bikes. So the same thing with the fakie process that you saw earlier on the tennis courts where we swap back and forth on the bikes. We're going to do the same thing. The whole point of doing this 10 tricks kind of competition between the two of us because we want to see which one is easier to ride with these 10 tricks. So let's get to it. The very first trick we're going to do is a 180 into the bank. All this back and forth action definitely has John pretty confused when he jumps on each of the bikes. There you go.
Yo!
Woo! So the next trick we're gonna do is a bunny hop 360 to fakie on this bank.
Yo!
Alright, so the next one we're gonna do is a feeble 180 on this ledge behind me.
Yo!
I'm betting right now, guys, that he does an Indian giver out. For those of you who don't know what an Indian giver is, it's when you spin one way and you roll out another. I count it. That was a really cool fakie though. You. All right, so the next trick is going to be a foot jam fakie. On that same section we did the 3 fakie on, but it's going to be on top of that step, the very first step.
Nice.
Woo! You. All right, next trick is a 180 onto the circle pad to half cab off.
Yo! Yo!
All right, next up is this China Bank wall ride right here to 180 out.
Woo.
Yo!
Dang, perfect.
All right, so the next trick is going to be in a bubica on a quarter pipe. Not a lot of you guys watching this do a bubicas or even have brakes, but we're kind of limited to what we can ride here. We are going to stick to an abubica, and I think the coaster style is going to be pretty treacherous. It's going to be fast, so let's get to it.
Woo!
Working those brakes. Take it. All right, so the next trick we're gonna do is a foot jam whip fakie on this mellow bank. This trick can be really tricky in itself, but I imagine it might be a little bit easier to fakie because your feet can kind of be wherever you want them to be when you're going fakie with a coaster. But I'm gonna do it right now on my bike first, kind of get out of the way, because this one's probably gonna be the problem.
Yo!
Dang it.
All right, guys, I'm gonna give that to him because he's been trying that for like a half an hour, okay? I'm not even joking. It's gonna look like it was first try and he fell because I'm not trying to clip this video to be like a half an hour long.
On that boat you gave me.
All right, guys, next trick is gonna be a 180 bar spin up this little Euro, and John's gonna be the first one to do it on the coaster style bike. Nice!
All right, I'll take it.
We'll take it.
You suck.
All right, last and final trick, whip fly out. Now, a lot of people with coasters don't like doing tail whips because of the slack, and they have a problem because they'll land 1 foot forward and they'll pedal down and they'll end up not making the tail whip. So, just gotta catch both feet. We're gonna try it right now.
Yo! Perfect.
You! Yes!
It's much easier to whip around.
All right, so today was really fun riding both those bikes. So the overall consensus with this is ride what you want. This wasn't to bash or favor one or the other. This was more for me and John to just kind of test out to see what one has to offer that the other one doesn't. And our consensus on the whole situation is riding cassette for some of the tricks we like to do becomes way easier, way more trustworthy, knowing that you have that resistance there on your pedals. Now, tail whips in general are gonna be hard. They become twice as hard if you already know how to do them a certain way, and then you go to try to do them that same way with a coaster, because you'll pedal forward and you'll have that slack. If you guys have any other suggestions for how-to videos, drop a comment below. If you like this video, drop a like. If you love it, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one. Hey guys, check me out!